Good morning, class. Unfortunately, Franklin Roosevelt couldn't be with us today. So today we're joined by famous author John Milton. That's M-I-L-T-O-N, John Milton, who wrote a very influential epic poem called Paradise Lost, discussed in chapter 15. I'd like to see more extra credit, by the way. So now 15, we have the backstory of the DeLacy family. We have the creation. I'm going to stop calling him a demon or a monster. He's a creation, and he's human-like. He has human emotion, he has sensitivity, he cries, he yearns for love, he yearns to belong, he yearns for friendship, he yearns to help people. That's not a demon. That's a creation. That probably will offend some people who are creationists. I'm not trying to offend, but I don't think the creation, the monster, really needs to be talked about like that. So let's get started. Chapter 15, I'm on page 112. We're getting close to the end, guys. Now, the last two chapters are really kind of creation backstories or origin stories, where we really saw his sensitivity. And I like to call them kind of a bridge, kind of a little bit boring, but a bridge to the climax. So here in 15, he says they bust out some more literature for Safi. They get into Paradise Lost by John Milton, me, and Plutarch's Lives and the Sorrows of Werther. All of these are really man falls from grace stories, but also some God complex stuff, especially Paradise Lost. But just think, man falls from grace, kind of like back to Kyle's Satan reference, where he was supposed to be good, and then he fell from grace as Lucifer. The creation makes lots of world-to-world and text-to-world and text-to-self connections in these texts, which is really interesting. Talks about annotation and how when he makes connections with himself, he feels and learns from the characters' experiences more, which is really powerful. I mean, that's why I mark this stuff. If you're not writing in a book, you got problems. I applied much personally to my own feelings and conditions. I applied my reading to my feelings and conditions. Whew. I mean, if any one of my students said that to me, I would be checking that box. 114, 115 really gets into Paradise Lost here. Like Adam, the creation says, I was apparently united by no link to any other being in existence, but his state was far different from mine in every other respect. He had come forth from the hands of God, a perfect creature, Adam, happy and prosperous, guarded by the especial care of his creator. He was allowed to converse with and acquire knowledge from beings of a superior nature, but I was wretched. I was helpless. Remember that line in Amazing Grace where she calls herself a wretch? I was wretched, helpless, and alone. Many times I considered Satan as the fitter emblem of my condition, for often, like him, when I viewed the bliss of my protectors, the DeLacy family, The bitter gall of envy rose within me. Ooh, envy, that's a sin, right? So that right there in the middle of 104, he's really going deep on the God stuff. 114, sorry, not 104, 114. I sickened as I read. Hateful day when I received life. I exclaimed in agony, accursed creator, why did you form a monster so hideous that even you turned from me in disgust? God in pity made man beautiful and alluring after his own image, but my form and this filthy type of yours more horrid even from the very resemblance. Satan had his companions, fellow devils, to admire and encourage him, but I am solitary and abhorred, hated. So there you go, Kyle. There's two Satan references right there, 114, 115. I cherished hope. It is true, but it vanished when I beheld my person reflected in the water, my shadow in the moonshine, even as that frail image of that inconstant shade. He would look at himself in the water while he went out hunting for wood for the family at night. And in the moonlight, he would not want to look at his reflection in the water. Can you imagine feeling like that? I can. I remember those days not wanting to look in the mirror. It's not fun. He starts thinking, man, if I can just get to the blind old DeLacy man, he's blind or sight challenged. If the kids roll out, maybe I can go in there, I can talk him into listening to me, being my friend, and then he can explain to the kids who can see how ugly I am, hey man, give this guy a chance before you judge a book by its cover. So the kids finally go out on a nature hike, and he goes, knocks on Mr. Old DeLacy, I'm a traveler, I need some help, there's some friends of mine, they think I'm ugly, is there any way you can help? And he's like, well, who are these friends? Where do they live? Oh, they live close by, the creation says. And he's really, really fearful that this plan is not going to work. And if it doesn't, what is he going to do then? I'm on to page 118, 119. Finally, they go on this hike. And he goes, now is the time. He's inside. The guy's like, I will help you. Who are these friends? Are they close? I'll go with you and I'll try and talk him into not judging you, judging the book that is the monster, the creation, by its cover. And so then he hears footsteps and he's like, oh crap, I gotta tell him now. Now is the time. Save and protect me. You and your family are the friends whom I seek. Do not you desert me in this hour of trial. Like he's pleading, please help me. The kids roll in. Agatha faints. Sapphy runs. And Felix darts to him with supernatural force and fights him off. And even though he could rip him limb from limb, he doesn't do it. And it says right there, I could have ripped him limb from limb, but I resisted the urge. The creation runs and sneaks back to his hovel undetected, and he's lost all hope at the end on page 120. It's a heavy chapter, guys. I hope this helps. This is John Milton. Good afternoon, class.